Showrunner walks out. Miguel Sapochnik quit House of the Dragon after this happened. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel where fantasy meets strategy and nostalgia fuels our digital adventures. It was the biggest fantasy television launch since Game of Thrones. Millions of viewers, record-breaking numbers, dragons soaring over Westeros once again. House of the Dragon seemed unstoppable. But behind the scenes, cracks were already forming. And then, without warning, showrunner Miguel Sapochnik walked away. The man who had helped craft the most iconic battles in Thrones history, suddenly gone. Why did he quit? What happened behind closed doors? And how did it shake the future of the show? This is the real story behind the dramatic exit of Miguel Sapochnik from House of the Dragon. The rise of Miguel Sapochnik. Before the storm, there was greatness. Miguel Sapochnik wasn't just any director. He was the mastermind behind Game of Thrones' most jaw-dropping episodes, Hardhome, Battle of the Bastards, and The Long Night. His visual storytelling and scale made him a legend in the Thrones universe. When HBO greenlit House of the Dragon, the pressure was immense. The world was still reeling from the divisive final season of Game of Thrones. The prequel had to win back the fans, and Miguel was the man to lead the charge. Paired with Ryan Condal as co-showrunner, Miguel was given creative power. The duo split responsibilities. Condal focused more on writing and world building, while Sapochnik directed and shaped the visual identity. The partnership looked strong on paper, but from the start, it was a delicate balance. Behind the scenes, creative tensions mount. As filming for Season 1 began, the tone behind the scenes shifted. Several crew members have since revealed that the creative environment was intense, with conflicting visions emerging. Voiceover from anonymous insider. Miguel had a very specific way of working. He's a perfectionist. He wanted everything cinematic, everything to have weight. That meant long hours, retakes, and sometimes friction with the writing team. Multiple reports pointed to growing tension between Miguel and Ryan Condal. While no open hostility was ever confirmed, sources say their creative philosophies clashed. Miguel reportedly wanted to push boundaries with violence and visual storytelling, while Ryan leaned more into the political intrigue and slower character arcs of the original Thrones seasons. HBO executives reportedly had to step in multiple times to mediate disagreements on direction, pacing, and even casting decisions. Though both men remained professional, the strain was undeniable. The struggles of Season 1. Filming House of the Dragon Season 1 during the pandemic era brought logistical nightmares. Tight safety protocols, delays, locations shutting down, but Miguel powered through. He directed the pilot and several pivotal episodes, bringing the Targaryen civil war to life. However, the pressure weighed heavily. According to close colleagues, Miguel often worked 16-hour days and carried the burden of expectation with little reprieve. Voice clip, crew member. He cared so much, maybe too much. He'd obsess over every shot, every dragon shadow, every sword clang. But you could see the fatigue wearing him down. Some insiders say Miguel was frustrated with how much control he truly had. Despite being a co-showrunner, HBO reportedly gave final script approval to Condal and George R.R. Martin, the original creator. This sidelined Miguel during key story decisions, especially as later episodes evolved. The breaking point. A clash over Season 2. It was after the success of Season 1's premiere, when HBO officially renewed House of the Dragon for Season 2, that things reached a boiling point. According to reports from The Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, discussions for Season 2 began swiftly. Miguel was offered to stay on, but behind the scenes, he clashed with the proposed changes to the show's direction. Insider quote, "He had big visions for how Season 2 should unfold. He wanted deeper character deaths, longer battle arcs, a grittier war. HBO and Condal wanted to slow it down, to hold back some major moments for later seasons. That disagreement became a wall. Then came the final straw. Rumors suggest that Miguel pitched a major plotline rework that was rejected. He reportedly felt his voice was being drowned out, that despite his years of service to the franchise, he was no longer trusted to help steer the ship. Shortly after, he made the decision that stunned Hollywood. Miguel Sapochnik was stepping down. The announcement heard across Westeros. On August 31, 2022, HBO released a statement. Miguel Sapochnik would be leaving House of the Dragon as co-showrunner. The message was polite, professional, but fans knew something was wrong. Working within the Thrones universe for the past few years has been an honor and a privilege, Miguel said in his statement. I am so proud of what we accomplished with Season 1, but it is time for me to move on. The reaction was immediate. Social media exploded with theories. Was it burnout? Was it creative sabotage? Was it studio interference? Fan blogs, entertainment reporters, and YouTubers all began speculating. But amid the chaos, one thing became clear: House of the Dragon had lost its battle commander. Fallout on set, cast and crew react. Internally, the news shook the production. Cast members were reportedly shocked. Some had built strong working relationships with Miguel, praising his dedication to detail and emotion. Emma Darcy interview clip: Miguel had this way of guiding you without ever telling you what to do. He made the camera feel like part of the scene, not just something watching you. Matt Smith shared in another roundtable. His departure left a gap. There's no pretending otherwise. He's a force. Losing him midstream wasn't easy. To help stabilize production, HBO announced that Alan Taylor, another Game of Thrones veteran, would step in to direct Season 2 episodes. But he wouldn't be a showrunner. That role would now rest solely with Ryan Condal. Some critics questioned whether the show would lose its visual magic without Miguel. Others believed Condal's singular leadership might create more consistency. But one thing was undeniable: the departure marked the end of an era. Miguel's future projects. Since leaving House of the Dragon, Miguel Sapochnik has remained tight-lipped about the real reasons behind his exit. But he hasn't vanished. Insiders say he's now developing multiple film projects and may even be working with other streaming giants. Industry source: he's exploring sci-fi. He's interested in a post-apocalyptic series. He wants to direct without interference. Though he left the Dragon's Nest, Miguel's career is far from over. He remains one of the most respected directors in television, and fans eagerly await his next chapter. What it means for House of the Dragon. So what does Miguel's departure mean for the future of House of the Dragon? Season 2 is now in full production, with Condal as the sole showrunner. And while the writing remains strong and the cast continues to shine, fans are already comparing the visual tone of newer episodes to Miguel's work. The scenes are still powerful, but there's a certain cinematic flair that Miguel brought, especially to battles and emotional crescendos, that's hard to replace. Some fear that House of the Dragon might lean too heavily on dialogue and political plots. Others believe Condal will surprise everyone. But the ghost of Sapochnik's departure lingers, proof that even a fantasy empire is vulnerable to real-world drama. Final thoughts: the price of power. In Westeros, power always comes with a price. And so it is behind the scenes. Miguel Sapochnik built the house. He crafted its foundations in blood, fire, and cinematic glory. But in the end, the cost of power, creative compromise, exhaustion, and isolation, was too high. His exit is a reminder that even in fantasy, reality can strike hard. Burnout, frustration, and creative disagreements are part of the industry, especially when the stakes are this high. But maybe, just maybe, his departure will allow new voices to rise. Condal has his own vision. The cast has matured into their roles. The dragons still soar. The dance of the dragons continues. Miguel Sapochnik may have walked away, but his fire still burns in every frame of House of the Dragon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the behind-the-scenes turmoil of House of the Dragon, hit that like button and subscribe for more HBO secrets, cast reactions, and the truth beneath the Iron Throne. Let us know in the comments, do you think the show will suffer without Sapochnik? Or is the best yet to come? This has been your inside look at The Day a Dragon Flew Away.